Well, today I'm back at Quantum,
So I'm gonna
and we're
voice
going
over
to
this
try and
first
print
part.
this antique window for my
So this is
dollhouse,
the
and
credential.
I am
Oh,
so
yes.
excited.
So go ahead and tell me what you've done here.
So I've got the 3D scan all cleaned up as best I can, and we've placed it into the 3D printing software, where it is oriented on the bed for the resin 3D printer. Resin 3D printers do not like overhangs or strange angles, so it automatically generates a support structure to sit underneath whatever you are printing to make sure that everything is properly supported from drooping.
Okay.
And so, as we have it now, all of the supports are on the back side of the window frame, because if any surface is going to be uneven or marred, it should be that one.
Okay.
But all of that can be cleaned up after the fact with a hobby knife and sandpaper.
Okay.
And this will be printing in a gray resin that is meant to look like a ABS, or act like an ABS plastic. So it'll be a very slightly flexible, but it will be very easy to work with.
All right.
And right now, as things stand, this is set to take approximately 4 hours to print. And once we've got our sample one, we'll hand it over to you, and you can take a look and make sure that the surfaces you want nice are nice and that it's all good, and then we'll make a few more.
Okay. Sounds great.
And this view here is showing on the underside of the 3D printer tray, just there is an LCD screen pointing upwards. And basically, it shines an image on that LCD screen, and where the image shines, it cures the resin. So it comes, the tray comes down, it cures a layer, then lifts up a little bit, cures a layer, lifts up. So if you look on the screen here, I can actually,
So does it print it upside down?
yes, it does.
Okay.
So I can actually press this and you can see it just in action like this. So you can see right here,
Okay.
you can see the different layers as it goes up the way.
Okay.
And so each of these is an individual, each frame is an individual layer that will be printed. And so it works its way all the way up like that.
So have you engaged it for the print or?
No, I have not yet. So I just wanted to show that that's what it's going to be doing.
Okay.
So I will go over here. I have to put the lid on here.
Okay.
Because there are ultraviolet lights, it asks us to protect our eyes.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to hit print, this guy here, and I'm going to hit play.
So these AnyCube, actually, my friend actually owns one
Oh,
of
nice.
these.
Yeah.
I just helped her set it up just
It's
real recently.
It's a very easy to use system.
Cost effective.
Yes, very, very inexpensive. And so it's going to start right here, and you'll see the first image appear down here. So that's what it is currently exposing.
Okay.
And the first few layers, I think the first 6 layers, it does an extra long exposure to make sure that the resin sticks to the platform. And then after those first 6 layers, it's about every 2.5, 3 seconds per layer.
So if a person was going to buy one of these printers, how strongly would you recommend the AnyCubic?
I would say it's a good cost-effective option. However, the support on it is not as good as I would like. We are actually looking at purchasing a printer from the brand Elegoo instead, which
Okay.
is a little more expensive, but has much better support for if anything goes wrong. It's much easier to get replacement parts and things
No.
like that.
Not that I want to test your spelling skills, but if I want to put Elegoo up on the
Oh,
screen, how do you
well,
spell it?
It's right here. This is the resin that Elegoo sells, so it's right there.
Okay. So Elegoo. So
Yes.
this is the photopolymer resin that
Yes.
we're actually using today?
Yes, although this bottle is the transparent. You were using the gray.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent. And the nice thing about doing this type of printing is you can buy it in white, gray, and transparent, but
And-
then you can actually dye it any
That's
color you
correct.
want.
They sell a few colors pre-made, but we have just over here actually, we have some, pardon me, some
okay.
dyes for resin that we purchased.
Okay.
You can just get these off Amazon or whatever, what have you, and they just are different colors that you can dye the resin just to make sure that you get the color you want.
So you put the resin in the base of this tray here.
And
So
then-
that's actually liquid
Yes.
inside of that tray.
That's correct.
So
yeah.
as it prints, the platform lifts,
Yes.
and then it cures with UV light, and then as it goes, it slowly cures each layer. Correct?
So as it finishes, it will lift up to separate the layer from the tray and then come back down to just above where it was before and
Yeah.
then do the next layer. And it goes up and down as it raises.
Yeah. So it looks to me like we're only going to be able to do one window
So-
per print.
It depends, because if we don't like how this is oriented, we might be able to sort of stand the window up a little more on the tray, which would let us get more on at once.
Okay.
So we may test with that. I tried looking at printing it straight up and down vertically.
Yeah.
However, the structures for support, I wasn't sure if they would be where you want them, so I wanted to err on the safe side for the first sample one.
Yeah.
But I saw I could do as many as 5 on the platform at once.
Okay. So when all said and done, I actually have 3 missing windows.
Sure.
So I really require to have 3 printed,
Yep.
but it would be really nice to have that extra one in case I screw
Absolutely.
one up when I'm cleaning it
Yep.
up. So,
So-
so when I clean the screws,
Yes.
you'll show me how. I just will
Yes.
take an X-Acto blade or a craft knife, cut
And
it off.
yes, and sandpaper. And
Okay.
so after this prints, there is a little bit of post-processing that has to happen where it has to be soaked in isopropyl alcohol to get any uncured resin off of it to clean it up.
Yes.
And then it is placed in a enclosure that looks like this, except it is just a big UV bowl pointing straight at it, and it cures the outside surface of the print to make sure that it is not, when it comes off the platform, it's a little like soft and tacky.
Yeah.
And then you put it in the curing oven and it just solidifies it so it feels like regular plastic.
Okay. Could you use like one of those UV lights, just like one of the flashlights to do that?
Yes,
as
and
well?
I have done that on larger prints where the light from the curing oven was not getting inside the print. So I just got a UV flashlight and
Yeah.
placed it on the inside, but you have to hold it there for a good 10 minutes or so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
10 whole minutes?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
it's a relatively long exposure. So
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. So I know that they sell those flashlights at Princess Auto quite
Absolutely.
cheaply.
Absolutely,
actually. I
yes.
think they're only like $10.
And I'm sure that you could rig up your own custom little oven with a flashlight like that, just sort of above the print, and
Yeah.
make sure it's enclosed so you don't damage your eyes.
Yeah.
That's what this plastic is for, is to make sure that no UV lights get in your
Or
eyes.
turn it on and leave the room and close
Exactly.
the door.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
resin printing is remarkably accurate, but a little messy
Yeah.
and a little smelly. So
Yeah.
just keep that in mind if you're thinking about one of these.
Well, personally, I have parrots in my house, so
Oh, I
it's
see.
not something that I would ever consider having
I see.
because it's quite toxic, the smell that comes out of it.
Absolutely.
And typically, they say that these should be properly ventilated.
Absolutely. This one has a little fellow right here in the corner that is an air cleaner. This is actually a little fan that goes off that
Yeah.
just does a little bit of filtration, and then we just have general ventilation, wide open space.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So you wouldn't vent this to the outdoors
no, you
in a
don't
home
have to.
in a home situation.
In a home situation, I would recommend wearing a face mask
Yeah.
where you're in a smaller room.
Yeah.
And most of these companies will sell you an additional air filtration system of some sort.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much. It's up to each person to decide how comfortable they are with that.
Yeah. Well, I know that personally nobody has smell-o-vision, but I can actually really smell this.
Oh,
printing.
absolutely. Yeah.
It's quite a strong odor, so
Yeah,
I can't see where that would be really healthy for anybody's lungs,
absolutely.
right?
So just make sure that you have either plenty of space or a face mask, ideally, and
Yeah.
all that sort of thing.
Yeah. So, well, given the fact that we've had a bit of a snowstorm, I probably won't come back today to look at the print.
Yeah.
I'll wait until the roads are a little bit less
Yeah.
slidey.
Absolutely.
Because
That makes sense.
getting here was not pleasurable.
Yes. And this will be about a 4-hour print, and
Yeah.
then I'll have to just do some quick cleanup afterwards before I can show you.
Oh, okay. And quickly, this is what's being printed.
Oh, let me just readjust the monitor there.
So anybody, you don't have to have special software. This
No,
software
thi-
comes with the printer.
That's correct. This software comes with the printer, and there are also plenty of open source softwares that work with just about any printer.
Yeah.
So this is what is being printed right now.
So it's printing from the bottom.
Yes,
up.
it moves from the bottom and goes up like that. This whole thing is flipped upside down on that platform.
That is so clever. This is just an amazing thing. And I think it'll make a real difference to a lot of people that are restoring these
Absolutely.
doll houses because, I mean, being over 100 years old, it's not like there's a warehouse available with these
Exactly.
windows. So I know a lot of people have kind of questioned my sanity in spending this much money to recreate this, but
Oh, yes.
you know, I think in the future it'll help out a lot of people that are doing restoration.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, you know. So, I mean, there is a lot of people that have these printers at home today. I mean, I think when 3D printers first started out, do you remember how much they were?
Oh, they were tens of thousands of dollars, if not hundreds.
Yeah.
But this printer was less than $1,000.
Yeah.
So-
Well, my friend just recently purchased one that's exactly the same as this, and I believe she only paid $500
Yeah,
for it. So-
they've been dropping in price quite a lot. The biggest thing that costs with these printers now is size.
Yeah.
So this one is quite big in terms of height, but not very big in terms of width. But you can buy ones now that are substantially bigger, but you do pay for it. But even then, it's only like $1,500, $2,000.
Yeah. So this printer that you have here,
Yes.
it's not a resin printer. This is what we call a filament printer.
That's correct, yes.
And the difference in quality with a filament printer is quite substantial,
Yes.
correct?
So a filament printer is much faster and easier to use, but it is much less accurate. It is more about getting things that are close to what you want than
Yeah.
exactly what you want.
Well, I think that the filament printer are a really great tool to have, but not as good as this resin printer in terms of
So-
doing miniatures.
So this was printed on the filament printer, and you can see all the little layers as it builds up, and it's quite a rough surface.
Yeah.
Like that. And then, as an example, this was printed on this resin printer, and you can see how smooth everything is and how small and
Yeah.
precise it can be.
Yeah, which is something that's ideal if you're doing miniatures. right?
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
actually, I have a little cage type thing like that my friend Tina made, and what it is it's what do you call it? One of those milk cartons.
Oh,
So
yes.
she found the
Yeah.
file to print milk cartons and printed it with her resin printer, and it's pretty cool. But
And-
it's about a quarter of that size because it's half scale. So
And something I should mention is this was printed in the bare basic Craftsman resin that comes with the printer,
Yeah.
and it's substantially more brittle than the
Okay.
stuff we're printing with, and you can see it's actually snapped in that corner there just from being handled.
Okay.
So the stuff we're printing with has just a little bit more flexibility to it, which
Okay.
allows it to be a little bit more durable if you're worried about something that's very fine detail.
Okay, so if you were going to be printing miniatures, you would suggest that they use the photopolymer resin as opposed to.
Specifically the ABS-like is what I would say.
Okay.
So all of these are photopolymer resins.
Okay.
That just means it is a resin that is activated by light.
Okay.
But this ABS-like is the style. And
Okay.
yes, this was $28 on Amazon for this jug.
Yeah,
So, and that's a
I
lot
mean,
of printing.
that's a lot. If you
Yeah.
put your hand beside it, so we can
Oh,
show
sure,
the
yeah.
size.
This
Yeah.
is 2 kilograms. It's a little bit over a liter's worth.
Yeah.
resin. So
That's not actually, that would print a lot of minis.
exactly. So
So, oh, awesome. Well, thank you very much for sharing this with me today. I really appreciate it. And I guess I'll come back and see you in
Absolutely.
the next couple of days. I'm just going to show the
Oh, yes.
outdoors.
yeah, it's a bit blizzardy out there today.
Yeah, it's not a nice day at all. So we'll wait until the roads are a little bit clear before we come back.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you again. And once again, do you have a business card so I can tell
Oh, I will
people
go
about
get
your
this
business?
one.
So once again, if anybody in the Edmonton area, or for that matter, anywhere in the world, is interested in having anything printed or rendered with 3D, you can get a hold of Bill Jackson. And here is his contact information, and they're willing to ship worldwide.
Yes, indeed.
Kevin in the UK was at a dollhouse show last weekend, and he shared a little bit of footage with me. I'm green with envy because we don't get any good old houses like that at our local shows here in Canada, that's for sure. And he's also shared the progress that he's making on his DH45 with us. So I'm just going to play some reels of all the stuff that Kevin, the dollhouse guy's been up to.
So I've basically been replacing all of the really badly woodworn plywood, which really wasn't savable. Save everything that I can, bar these couple of bits which I've had to remake from scratch, following the original patterns. And now I want to refix the staircase in, which I have paint stripped this morning, along with the front door, which I need to colour match. Okay, so some more work on this Ultra 45, working into the evening, which is unusual for me, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing, so I'm doing a bit more today. As you can see, I've now completely marked out where the backboard needs to be. The old one absolutely shot to ribbons and thin as a rake where it's been woodworm riddled. So now we can see that I've now cut the back panel out for this Ultra 45 and just offered it up to the main house just to see how it's basically looking and going to be. And I think it's going to be fine. So the next thing to do will be to attach all of this, not tonight now because it's time I knocked it on the head for a bit, and that'll be great. Hello Doll's House lovers. So basically continuation of this DH45. I've now made a complete new back for the house, and the next move will be to make the ceilings underneath the roof. And for all the skeptics who say I shouldn't be replacing plywood, this is what it looks like. So I'm going to be using a piece of an original Edwardian wardrobe that I've basically salvaged from a previous thing to make this top piece, which is exactly the right thickness and everything, and exactly the right period. And once it's cut, I'm sure we won't know it from the original thing. So that will be the next move. Looking forward to that. So I've now cut out the part for the roof ceiling, and so now I've positioned it where it needs to be, and I've marked it underneath where I need to nail it, because otherwise you just split the wood if you get the nails in the wrong place. So by putting a pilot hole in, once that's done I know exactly where I've got to nail it to. So that will be the next move now. Right, so that's all of the ceiling fixed down properly. So the next move, probably tomorrow, will be to attach the actual roof. So the roof itself now has a platform to fit on, which is what it should be, and it will look something like that when it's all tidied up and fixed, and then the front will go on. So all coming together nicely.
For those of you that don't know what a DH45 is going to look like finished, that's what she looks like. Isn't that just an absolute thing of beauty? Wow. If you enjoyed today's video and would like to help support my channel, you can do so by buying me a coffee. Just go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Lisa Dobo. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today, and I'd like to thank Kevin in the UK for sharing his update on his DH45. That's wonderful. Hopefully sometime in the next couple of days I'll be able to go and pick up some of those newly 3D printed windows for my dollhouse and start back on the renovations. For those that don't know me personally, my grandson's moving into the basement suite at my house, so we've been under renovation the last couple of weeks, so it's been pretty busy around here. So I apologize I haven't been uploading as much content as I normally do. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. It's free to do so. Please hit that like button, hit the notification bell so you'll know every time I upload a new video. And once again, everyone, have the best day ever. And thanks for watching.